Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Chronically Optimistic. My name is Abby, and I just wanted to give you an update about this past week since my last update, since I have gone from 15 milligrams down to 10 on my Trintellix, and how I've been feeling. So it's been around a week since I last updated you guys about how I've been doing since lowering my dose. And in my last update, I think I talked a lot about brain shivers, and I was experiencing daily headaches and some fatigue, some nausea a little bit. And I mentioned also that I was having some weird eye focusing problems, so I just kind of want to touch on how those things have been going this past week. So the brain shivers only lasted a couple of days and then they eased off, and I really didn't experience them again. This past week has been shiver free, thank the Lord. However, I have still been experiencing daily headaches. They're not necessarily that bad every single day. Some days I just get a little twinge here and there where I will have absolutely no headache, and then all of a sudden I'll just get this little kind of twinge of pain in my head, and I'm not really sure what exactly is causing it, but I'm sure it's still to do with the withdrawal from the meds, just because that's when it started. Like I said, it's not always very bad, and sometimes it only lasts a few seconds, sometimes it lasts a few minutes, and then it goes away and I'm fine. So it's not like I'm having an ongoing headache for the entire day. It definitely comes and goes. I have found that it's been worse at night. So when I'm lying in bed, I guess maybe it's something about lying down horizontally, or just the change in lighting or position. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but there's something about lying down to go to bed at night that definitely triggers the headaches. I find that some nights it's not that bad. I just have a little bit of head soreness. And it's a very mild headache, whereas other nights it's definitely more troublesome, and there have been some occasions where I've had to take Advil in order to find some relief. So that's not the greatest, but as far as side effects from withdrawal goes, having a few headaches here and there definitely is not that big of a deal, so I'm not going to complain too much about those. As I said, the brain shivers only lasted a couple of days and then they eased off as well. So as far as my head goes, I am pretty good. In terms of tiredness and fatigue, I'm still experiencing a lot of sleep problems. Definitely the last few nights especially, I have been having terrible insomnia, and it's been taking me a very long time to get to sleep at night, to fall asleep, and I feel like my brain is having trouble winding down. Even last night, I was up doing things until about 4:30 because I just felt so awake and I couldn't sleep, and I was just very off in terms of my sleep cycle and having insomnia. So I figured I would just watch YouTube videos, be on my computer, that kind of thing, just because I really didn't have the amount of tiredness required to go to sleep, and I knew that if I went to bed, I would just lie in bed feeling frustrated that I couldn't sleep. I didn't end up coming to bed until about 4:30 in the morning, and then when I did lie in bed, my brain just couldn't shut off, and I felt very tired, but my brain just wouldn't let me sleep. So I'm feeling quite fatigued today, and not entirely 100% just because of my sleep difficulties. So that's definitely been one of the harder aspects of this for me. But as a lot of you may know, I've had insomnia throughout my entire medication process. I've had insomnia even before I started medication, to a lesser extent, but for the entire time that I've been on SSRIs, I've really been struggling with sleep issues. So this isn't a new development for me, and I just deal with it basically as best as I can. As far as fatigue goes, there is definitely that as a reason behind it, but I have also been just having a lot of daytime tiredness as well as lack of motivation. So this means that I haven't had a lot of energy to run around doing chores and run errands and get stuff done. So I'm still behind. I did have one day where I just felt super productive and I finally had a little bit of energy, and I ran around, I vacuumed, I organized my cupboards, I cleaned out my fridge, I basically just checked a whole bunch of things off my to-do list that I've been meaning to do for so long. So that was a really great day for me, and I was hoping that it would continue, but unfortunately my energy level has gone down again and I'm really struggling with getting stuff done. That's definitely been difficult as well, and something that I'm trying to stay on top of, but it's very difficult when you're having problems sleeping. So I'm hoping that that will begin to improve soon, and wish me luck on that one. The eye focusing problem that I mentioned in my last update was definitely a one-time event. It was just a weird thing that happened while I was watching YouTube videos, and as I was sitting there, I just had a lot of difficulty focusing on the image, and I had a lot of problems with the image kind of moving back and forth. It kind of freaked me out, to be honest, because even when I was looking at other things in my house, they were moving weirdly, and it was like my eyes couldn't focus properly on anything. But it was definitely a one-time episode. It hasn't happened again in the last week, so I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that that is something that doesn't happen again, because it was very unpleasant. I mean, I won't know until I go down to my next lowest dose what's going to happen in terms of side effects, so who knows. It might come back again, it might not. It might have been because of something else, like maybe I was dehydrated or stressed. I'm not quite sure, but hopefully that one is done with and I don't have to experience that again. So that's about it for my symptoms that I talked about last time. Obviously, I still have the fatigue and the headaches and the sleep problems, but all the rest of them definitely were short-lived. They didn't last very long at all, so for that I'm very thankful. I'm going to talk about the new symptoms that I've had in the last week. This last week has actually been pretty good. Aside from the lack of motivation and the feeling tired and having insomnia, I haven't been very bad at all. I've had a little tiny bit of anxiety last night, but before that I didn't have any anxiety, no depression, no emotional kind of mental health problems at all, which is really great because obviously coming down onto the next lower dose of my medication could bring back some of the things I'm trying to treat. So I was really happy that I wasn't having depression or anxiety. But as I mentioned last night, as I was trying to fall asleep, I did have a little bit of an anxious feeling. It was definitely free-floating anxiety and stress, and I wasn't entirely 100% sure why I was feeling that way, but I was, and it was very discouraging just because I was so excited about the fact that I was doing well emotionally during this withdrawal period. And I was just a little bit disheartened when I started feeling anxious last night. But this morning I woke up feeling great and the anxiety seems to have just gone away. So fingers crossed that's going to remain the case, but it probably won't because I've been anxious since I was a little girl and that's not just going to disappear overnight. So I don't know what to say about that one. Hopefully I don't get super anxious, but if I do, I will deal with it and try and cope with it as best as I can, and we'll just see what happens. Depression-wise though, I've been feeling good, I've been feeling happy. Obviously, the motivation is an issue and the lack of energy can be very depressing in itself, but I don't have depression, the big entity that is depression. I'm definitely doing really well in that regard, so that's good. That's a big thumbs up. One thing that I have been noticing more this week has been some heartburn and acid reflux. This is something that I have experienced a lot on SSRIs and particularly on the Trintellix because it has a lot of gastrointestinal side effects. I find it really interesting and kind of weird that it's worsening as my dose is lowering. That to me seems really bizarre because on the 15 I didn't really have any acid reflux or heartburn or anything of that nature, and then now coming down onto the 10 it seems like this week I've been having a lot of that. So not quite sure if it's just the change that triggered it or what, but that's been happening this week. I've noticed it a lot when I'm trying to sleep if I'm lying on my right side, and they do say that because of the way that your stomach is shaped, It's kind of like a eggplant shape, your stomach, and it has an opening that leans towards one side where it goes up into your esophagus. So when you lay on your right side, that opening is facing down, which means that acid from your stomach, which is obviously supposed to be there, goes out of the opening and up into your esophagus, which causes acid reflux and heartburn, and that's obviously not what you want. So they do suggest to lie on your left side so that the opening to your stomach is facing up, and this means that the acid in your stomach is more likely to stay there. I realize this is really gross and kind of disgusting to talk about, but it's biology, it's anatomy, it's just how our bodies are shaped, and so I have been trying to lay on my left side when I go to sleep at night because I find that it reduces the heartburn that I feel. However, because of my fibro, when I lie on one side for too long, I end up getting a lot of very, very bad pain and stiffness. And so normally when I sleep at night, I toss and turn between my left and my right side very frequently. I might lie on one side for 10 minutes and then roll over and lie on the other side for 10 minutes and continue doing that. And that's because of my fibro. I just have such bad pain. If I lay on one side for too long, the pain starts getting too terrible and I have to move. So the problem I've been having this past week is I'll lie on my left side for 10 minutes. Then my fibro will start to flare up and I'll feel in a ton of pain, so I'll flip over onto my right side, but then I'll get acid reflux because I'm on my right side, and I'll have to flip over and I'll get the pain, and I'll go on my right side and I'll get the acid reflux. And so it's just been this horrible combination of those two things, and I've been having a lot of trouble with sleeping at night and staying comfortable as a result of that. So that has also been contributing to my sleep problems and sucks and isn't great at all. I've been having a couple of problems with concentration and memory loss. Basically, it's just like my brain isn't 100% on right now, and I'm easily distracted and losing my train of thought and having problems with concentration and all of those good things. So I've just been trying to write things down a little bit more. I've been using the alarm setting on my phone to set reminders for myself and make sure that I know when things are happening, and I've been leaving post-it notes around for myself and that kind of thing. So it sucks, honestly, to be forgetting things, and it's scary sometimes because you have no idea that you forgot it and it might have been something important, and for me that is a huge stressor. So I'm just trying to stay chill and be understanding with myself, and I think that's one of the really important things about any kind of mental health thing, about going on or off medication, anything that you're going through. Just be gentle with yourself. Realize that you're going through something right now, and not everything is going to be 100% easy and straightforward and smooth. If you forget something, don't beat yourself up because of it. You know, like, you're going through something and you have a mental illness or you have a chronic illness, and you're doing the best that you can. Give yourself a hug. Give yourself a pat on the back. Just say to yourself, it's okay if I mess up. It's okay if I do something wrong. It's okay if I do something dumb every now and again. You know, we're all human. We all make mistakes, and especially when you're in a situation where you're coming off medication, or you're going on to a new medication, or you have depression, or you have anxiety, or you have fibro or chronic fatigue, or whatever the case may be. You know, you're doing the best that you can, and that is amazing. So just cut yourself some slack sometimes. Try and just be gentle with yourself. Treat yourself as you would treat your good friend or a little 5-year-old that comes up to you on the street crying. You know, just be understanding and put yourself in your other self's shoes. Does that make sense? I don't know. I don't know. My brain, I'm being gentle with myself. I'm being gentle with the Abby brain because, you know, it's hard. But anyway, I will leave it at that, and I will hopefully give you guys an update again soon on how I'm feeling. And despite all of these side effects, I'm definitely still super motivated to continue my descent, if you will, on this medication. And, you know, the next time I see my doctor, I'm going to suggest we go from 10 down to the next level, which is probably going to be 5, so that's also quite a jump. So I will keep you guys updated on that. It's It's going to be interesting for sure. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. See ya!